Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Haolonggood release, and this time, as you can see, we've got ourselves another sauropod, as we have the 1/35th scale Amargasaurus. You'll also be able to notice that we have two different boxes, because we've got two different paint variants, as we usually do, and basically what you're looking at here is the front and back of the boxes, because you can see both boxes are kind of flipped in a way where you can see both sides of it straight out of the gate, and we've got some really nice images for the figure here on the front of the box, and it looks so nice. Absolutely beautiful looking figure so far from what we can tell. And then here you also have like some promotion for a few other releases that are out currently in the Haolonggood line, which there are quite a few. So let's pop these boxes open and check them out. First of all, something that's really cool is we actually have a booklet in here. I don't remember Haolonggood doing this previously, but you can see we've got a nice image here of the Amargasaurus on the front of the booklet, and then of course the Haolonggood title up there, and on the inside you can see we actually have some images and information about the Amargasaurus, which is really cool. And then you can also see as you move a little bit further, you basically have like promotion for many of the others. So many of the other Haolonggood figures, almost like a checklist here on the inside. I'm not sure if that's the entire lineup, but look at that. That right there just shows you some of their incredible sauropods that they have now in the line. And not too many companies take a chance on sauropods. So just this visual right here alone shows you how incredible Haolonggood is. And then again, a little bit more here on the last page. But that's really cool. Definitely liking that they're including that now. And then when it comes to our Amargasaurus themselves, there they are. And wow, those are gorgeous. Wow, I am just super blown away by how nice these look in person. Like, I was pretty darn impressed with the images I had seen that were released from Haolonggood of them, but I feel like the images in person, they don't even do it justice. This figure is gorgeous here in hand. It might be one of their best figures so far. Just almost at a loss for words at how nice this looks. So let's go ahead and jump to a closer look and we'll check them out a little more thoroughly. So we'll begin with what I would say is my favorite of the two, the brownish version. And you can see the head sculpt is really nice. It definitely looks great overall. You've got some nice skin texture, nice paint application. Everything looks really good, and there's a nice dark wash applied. We basically have like a brown, like a light brown, and then a darker brown up here on the top of the head and circling around the eye. And then you can see even more dark brown here on the front of the snout. And again, a nice dark brown wash, it looks like, potentially, just kind of tying it all together, which is really cool. As you move down into the neck, actually, before we even go down there, you can see the green eye, which is nice. Again, Haolonggood was giving us blue eyes for a long time. Now it looks like we've switched to green, or at least for this figure, and I think that green eye looks quite nice. There's also a nice gloss coat to it. But as you move down into the neck, you've got a nice cluster of skin wrinkles and folds down here in the throat region, and again, more variation of color, as you've got that light brownish tone, but you also have different variations of darker browns as you move up here into the back of the neck, and that just kind of stripes and patterns down along the course of the neck, and also a few spots showing up here and there. There's also again some nice detailing as you move around here to the underside of the neck and throat. The paint apps on this are super nicely done, honestly. This actually might be some of the best paintwork I think I've seen from Haolonggood so far. As far as the way it's applied and the realistic look that it has, it is extremely nicely done. They've also applied some nice dry brushing techniques as well to really make that detail pop. And then of course, when you lead up here to the trademark spines of the Amargasaurus, you can see that as well sports some beautiful orange tones, and then a lighter tone as you move out, almost like a yellowish orange as you lead out there toward the tips. It also has some more of the dark brownish tones, and they kind of like stripe in and spot in. It's really nice looking, definitely super vibrant, really highlights and shows off that area of the dinosaur with beautiful natural colors, which I really like, and definitely a very nice touch. I also like just the way it's positioned, how it's kind of curved in because the dinosaur has its head lifted so high. You don't often see a Amargasaurus in that position, so I really like that as well. You can kind of see that here as you move down, how they're all kind of bunched together the further down into the body you go. But as you continue to move down, you'll see even more variation to the browns. You can see more of the spots. You can see more striping and stuff here as you move down through the course of the figure. You can make out the shoulder blade a little bit, but not enough that it's like or even remotely shrink wrapped. You can also see again the skin texture looks really good as you move down through. We've got the super smooth paintwork here running down the front of the leg, and look at how nice and natural that transition is to the lighter tone here on the back of the leg. You've got more spots and stuff as you move down, more dry brushing techniques, it looks like, highlighting some of the detail. Very nicely sculpted leg as you move down into the foot. You can see the nail is painted with a black, a nice glossy black. It's hard to see this one currently because it's kind of facing away from us, but it is painted nicely. You can also see a really smooth transition to a lighter tone here in the stomach region, but also like some pinkish tones as you move further down into the lower part of the stomach as well. And again, a little bit of more like the spotting kind of running down along that area, which looks really cool. You've got a nice little area of skin wrinkles and folds as the dinosaur's leg is pushing into the stomach, which is a nice touch. And then as you lead up here into the back of the dinosaur, you can see a few little ridges here tapering off as you move up there. And you can also see we have a lighter tone, like a really light sort of a tan or an off-white up there that starts to appear, and that kind of follows along the spinal column, breaking up the dark browns. And then you still see more of the variations of dark browns as you move through. Very, very nice and very smooth application of the paint. As you move down, you can kind of make out the hip bone, but not all that much. You can also see some muscle definition in the leg, but again, not overly defined. Really nice skin detail, especially with the skin stretching off of the tail right there. You've got the knee and the front of the leg. You can even see more pinkish tones moving up the front of the thigh as well as the shin. And then as you move down into the foot sculpt, you can see the toes look pretty nice. You've got some creasing in the ankle, and again, some more glossy paintwork there for the nails. And then we lead back up here into the tail. As you lead out into the tail, you start to see this darker variation of color break up. You can also see this coloration that was really quite light at one point start to dim as you move out, and then you basically have a light tone moving out through the rest of the tail with a dark brown striping and patterning. But as you lead out, you also get a little bit of flashiness as you lead out there toward the tip with an orange tone similar to what we have in the spines in the back of the neck. You can see more of like that pinkish sort of color moving along the underside, as well as more of that dark wash present. We do have a cloaca present right there, and then you move along the underside. You can even see a little more variation of color with a nice little spot of like a light gray right there as you move through. And then if you take a look at the opposing side, again, the Amargasaurus is absolutely gorgeous as far as the sculpt, and again, the paintwork looks really nice as you move down. You can see that the head is kind of facing away from us on this side, so you see a little bit of like stretching in the skin on this side compared to the initial side. Same deal right here, more wrinkles and stuff, but also how it's kind of stretching in the neck area. And again, there's just so much paintwork on this, and it is so unbelievably nicely applied. Again, really nice curving and wrinkling in the skin right here as well, all the way down here into almost in like the shoulder area for the dinosaur. And you can still see again the variation of colors. You've got this lighter kind of tannish brown, you've got a different variation of brown there, you've got like some pinkish sort of brown tones there. There's just so much color on this figure. It looks super nice, and also some of these areas have been kind of outlined with a darker tone up here as well. But as you move down, you can see this leg is taking a step forward, whereas the opposing leg was trailing. You can also see the nail now for the opposing leg. On this side, you've got a better view of the stomach and how the skin is stretching off of the stomach, because this leg is trailing, whereas the opposing leg was leading. Same sort of sculpt and detail, same incredibly impressive skin texture, nicely applied paintwork. You've got the toes and the ankle basically bending here as the dinosaur's taking a step forward. And then we lead out through the course of the tail, and the tail starts out kind of straight out, but then as you lead out there toward the tip, you get some nice curvatures to the tail. So that is far and away one of the nicest Amargasaurus figures I've ever seen. And then we've also got the green version. Now, sculpt-wise, this is exactly the same as the other one. Paint-wise is where it differs, and one thing that really stands out to me on this one is the bluish tones on the snout of the Amargasaurus really pop on this figure. You can also see the nostrils right there as well. If my camera would focus correctly on it, there we go. But again, really cool bluish tones. You don't really see that blue anywhere else except right there on the snout. I would say this is probably the male version of the two, but I could be wrong. But as you move back, you have pretty close to the same sort of patterning and stuff, but just alternate tones of color. We do have a light tone there in the face, again, just like we had on the other one, but darker tones as you move up. You've got more vibrant oranges, I would say, on this one compared to the other one. The other one had nice oranges, but like the oranges start on the top of the head on this one. And again, you can see a green eye, just like we had for the other one. Nicely painted pupil, nice gloss coat as well. And then as you move down, you've got the greens here, really nice looking greenish tones moving down through the course of the neck. You've got the variations of darker and lighter browns patterning through, oranges, and then that yellowish tone as you lead out closer to the ends of those spines. And again, it all looks really, really nice. You've also got the lighter tones for the underside of the neck and throat, as well as pinkish tones showing up in that area as you move down. And as you continue through, you again have all of the really cool greenish tones through the course of the body, and you have more of the orange up here on the top. You have that same sort of patterning, but it's not quite the same as the other one where we had that lighter tone that differs from the rest of the body tapering off. We basically just have the orange now replacing that on this one, but we still have like the darker tones striping up and even kind of like outlining as you move through. But you can see again just really subtle variations of color added to the figure as you move throughout the course of the entire Amargasaurus. You've got a little bit more of a lighter green in the stomach region, more, it's almost like pink and orange mixed together as you move down. Like that looks orange, but as you move to the underside, it looks a little more pink to me. But really, really nice looking paintwork. Again, you've got the nails painted with, it looks like maybe a little bit of a different shade of color. We had like a black on the other ones. This one has more of like a brown for the nails, and it seems a little less glossy than we saw on the other nails. But as you move out, you again have more striping, but you also have like a light gray pickup that stripes along with the darker tones moving out, and we yet again transition to an orange for the tip of the tail. As you move along the underside, you again see the lighter tones. You can see how we have like a mixture of like off-whites, oranges, and pinkish tones moving through the underside of the Amargasaurus. And you're of course going to see the same thing on the opposing side as well. But absolutely incredible, both of these. I honestly don't know for sure that I could pick one over the other. I think I was favoring the brownish version at first, but having the two of them here in hand and in person, I don't know that I can truly choose one over the other. As far as a size goes, for a length from the snout to the tail, you're looking at almost like 13 inches on the dot, or about 33 centimeters. And then for a height to the top of the snout, a little under 4 3/4 inches, or just shy of 12 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon in the Collect A human being next to our Haolonggood Amargasaurus, and you can see it definitely has a very nice size to it. It by no means is a large figure or anything, but it's pretty much the exact size range I personally would expect for an Amargasaurus. And for another size comparison to further show you that, there is the Collect A Deluxe Amargasaurus, which you can see the Haolonggood version is obviously a lot nicer, but you can also see they're kind of similar in size, just a little more bulkiness to the Collect A version. I also have the PNSO Amargasaurus, which you can see is also fairly similar in size, but I would say a little bit bigger on the PNSO version. I think the Haolonggood version is just a bit shorter and a little bit smaller as far as the body mass goes and everything, but kind of similar in size. We've also got a classic with the Batat version of the Amargasaurus, which is clearly a lot smaller. And even though it's not the Amargasaurus, because my Amargasaurus is currently unattainable thanks to me rearranging things here, but this is the Schleichbahatosaurus, which is pretty much the same size as the Amargasaurus, next to the Haolonggood Amargasaurus, which you can see it's a little bit smaller, but not by a whole lot. And then one final size comparison for humorous reasons. We have the Alamosaurus from Haolonggood next to their Amargasaurus, which you can very clearly see there is a massive difference in size, but it is still cool to see a few different Haolonggood sauropods here together. So these brand new Haolonggood Amargasaurus are both gorgeous. Like, they are probably two of my favorite Haolonggood figures to come from them in quite a while. But that's actually, you know, an impressive thing to be able to say, because because every single time Haolonggood releases a new figure, I feel like they just knock it out of the park completely, and they have done that with every release as long as I can remember. They are consistently unbelievably awesome releases, and the same can be said for these two Amargasaurus. Yet again, we've got a gorgeous sculpt, very highly detailed, super vibrant detail. I would say the highest of quality when it comes to how good the actual figure looks in hand and how good the detail looks on the figure. We also have all sorts of fine detail throughout when it comes to like the skin wrinkles and everything, showing off the movement of the dinosaur in perfect fashion. The paint apps are fantastic. Again, there's so much variation of color added to this, so much smooth transitioning back and forth, really nice patterning that is also smoothly applied. And I love the fact that we yet again have two different paint variants which sort of resemble each other and at the same time can kind of give you the look of a male and female, which is always really fun. And both paint variants look very flashy but very naturalistic at the same time. We also have a nice natural walking pose as well for the Amargasaurus. Nothing crazy or flashy, just a nice natural kind of walking along, sort of, I guess, herding kind of pose. So you could buy a whole bunch of these and they would look great kind of herding together. But as a whole, this is an amazing release from Haolonggood and one that I definitely recommend picking up. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can grab these from Lana Time Shop, because that is exactly where I purchased mine. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.